All right, let's see here about this man here, which may very well be his last rally speech towards taking center stage with the American people in these regards.
It is wonderful to be here with you tonight. Thank you for coming out and supporting us. President Trump continues to fight for you every single day. Do not let your voices be silenced. We must keep our seats in the Senate. It is more important than ever that you exercise your right as an American citizen and vote. Under my husband's leadership, our borders are safer. Global terrorists have been destroyed and historic peace deals in the Middle East have been made. Our nation is respected again, and our allies are now doing their fair share globally. President Trump has brought jobs back to the American people. And opportunities for women have expanded in our workforce. Our economy has soared and unemployment has shrunk. When a global pandemic hit the United States last January, my husband put the American people first. And now, under this administration, and because of our amazing medical capabilities and resources, we are closer than ever to vaccinate that will save millions of lives. Let your voices be heard, Georgia. Get out and vote for Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue. Thank you and God bless you and your families. It is now my pleasure to welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you. A very popular First Lady, I have to say. Thank you very much, and thank you, Melania. And I want to say, hello, Georgia. We did a great job. You know, we won Georgia, just so you understand. And we won Florida. And we won a lot of places. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. No, we won a lot of places. We won Florida. We won Ohio. Big. We won them big. Remember, we were going to lose Florida, they said. We were 5 down in Florida. We won by a lot. We were way down in Ohio, and we won by a lot. I think they say that if you win Florida and if you win Ohio, in history, you've never lost an election. This has got to be our first time. But the truth is, they were right. We've never lost an election. We're winning this election. And I will say we're fighting very hard for this state. When you look at all of the corruption and all of the problems having to do with this election, all I can do is campaign, and then I wait for the numbers. But when the numbers come out of ceilings and come out of leather bags, you start to say, what's going on? But I want to just tell you that I love this state, I love the people in this state, and I'm thrilled to be back in magnificent Georgia with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Let me begin by wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. Remember the word? Remember? We started 5 years ago, and I said, you're going to be saying Christmas again, and we say it proudly again, although they'll be trying to take that word again out of the vocabulary. We're not going to let them do that. I also want to express our profound condolences to the family of Harrison Deal, a young and brilliant campaign staffer for Senator Loeffler, who tragically died in a terrible car accident yesterday. You know about it. He was an incredible, magnificent young man, and I just want to say our prayers are with his friends and loved ones, and we will keep his memory in our hearts. And he's looking down right now, and he's very proud of Kelly and David. He's very proud of all of us. So I just want to express my best wishes, okay, to the family and everybody. Thank you, Kelly. And let me also express our warmest best wishes and love to all of those people and families suffering from the COVID pandemic. Vaccines are on their way at a level that nobody ever thought possible. It would have taken another administration 5 years. It took us 7 months, and they're starting next week, and we're going to start vaccinating, and a lot of people already are vaccinated. It's called you caught it, and you're immune. I hope it's true. You know, they say that before I had it, they said, if you catch it, you're immune for life. Once I got it, they said, if you catch it, you're immune for 4 months, right? You know? But they're on their way, the vaccines, and they're great vaccines and safe and brilliant, actually, to think of it, what we've done in such a short period of time. Nobody thought, they call it, even some of the enemies call it a medical miracle, what we've done. And we also have great therapeutics, and they're already here. And I can testify to that fact. I'll tell you what, some incredible work has been done over the last 7 months, and we should always get credit for that. Don't let anyone ever take it away from us. We're gathered here tonight to ensure, a very important word, ensure, because these are two great, great people that I know so well and respected by everybody in Washington and beyond, that David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler win the most important congressional runoff probably in American history. I really believe that. I think it's in American. There's never been a time like this where you have two at one time. At least you have two beauties. And you know what? You also have two beauties running against them, but beauty in a different way. They're two beauties. But there's never been a case where a state has had this prominence on Senate races, because they're never together. And this is something that's very important, and you have to get out, you have to vote, you have to make sure you have every vote counted. Every vote has to count. You got to make sure they don't throw away any ballots. You got to make sure that when they collect the ballots and they start bragging about how many ballots they already have, you got to make sure your Secretary of State knows what the hell he's doing. And you got to make sure your governor gets a lot tougher than he's been. He's got to get a lot tougher. Because at stake in this election is control of the U.S. Senate, and that really means control of this country. The voters of Georgia will determine which party runs every committee, writes every piece of legislation, controls every single taxpayer dollar. Very simply, you will decide whether your children will grow up in a socialist country or whether they will grow up in a free country. And I will tell you this, socialist is just the beginning for these people. These people want to go further than socialism. They want to go into a communistic form of government, and I have no doubt about it. Somehow that doesn't suit Georgia too well. That doesn't work too well, I think, Kelly in Georgia, does it, huh? David and Kelly are running against radical Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. Ossoff and Warnock are the two most extreme, far-left, liberal Senate candidates in the history of our country. And you got them both at one time. How did that happen? I think you both got lucky, but we'll see, right? We'll see. You must go vote and vote early starting December 14th. You have to do it. They cheated and they rigged our presidential election, but we will still win it. We will still win it. We'll still win it. And they're going to try and rig this election too. No, we continue to fight. We've had some great moments. We just need somebody with courage to do what they have to do, because everyone knows it's wrong. We need somebody with courage, somebody that makes decisions. And we'll be going up to the Supreme Court very shortly, and we really, if we have courage and wisdom, I think you know what the answer is going to be, because you can't let people get away with what they got away with. Think of it, with over 74 million votes, think of that, I got more votes than any sitting president in history, 11 million more votes than we got in 2016. And we thought that if we could get 68 million, 67 million, that would be the end. All of our great, brilliant geniuses said you'd win if you get 67 or 68, it's over. We got 74 million plus, and they're trying to convince us that we lost. We didn't lose. They found a lot of ballots, to be nice about it, and they got rid of some too. The 74, let me tell you, the 74 could have been even higher. As the great pollster, John McLaughlin, who's really a great pollster, one of the most highly respected, he said there's no way this could have happened other than the obvious cheating or a rigged election. There's no way it could have happened. You know, it's interesting. I wrote this out, and I had just a few of the facts, which I think, because I want to get onto the presidentials. I want to stay on presidential, but I got to get to these two because they're incredible. But listen to this. These are the facts. And each fact is like irrefutable, and it means win. President Trump received, done by one of the most brilliant political people, President Trump received more votes than any previous incumbent president in history. And we lost. So we received more votes than anybody in history, any incumbent in history, and we lost, supposedly. We didn't lose. You're gonna see that. No incumbent who received 75% of the total primary vote lost re-election in the history of our country. President Trump received 94%, not 75, 94, which is one of the highest in history. In fact, President Trump is the only one of 5 incumbents since 1912 to receive more than 90% of the primary vote. And again, anybody received over 75%, they won. We got 94%. President Trump set a record for the most primary votes ever received by an incumbent, ever. And nobody that's received all of the primary votes, nobody's received at a much lesser level than what they always won. But we didn't, according to what they say. It's rigged. It's a fixed deal. Nationally, initial numbers show that 26% of President Trump's voting share came from non-white voters, the highest percentage for a GOP presidential candidate since 1960. That's a long time ago. President Trump won, think of this one, President Trump won 18 of 19 bellwether counties. You know what a bellwether county is? It's a big deal. So I won 18 of 19, a record, never happened, that between 1980 and 2016 voted for the eventual president in every single election, and before that it was almost every election, and we won a record, 18 of 19, never lost. Nobody's ever lost with anything like that. Biden did not demonstrate coattails for the down ballot races, had no coattails. I'm shocked to hear that. In fact, he got 80 million votes, but when he made a Thanksgiving Day speech on the internet, they say he had less than 1,000 people. How do you have 80 million votes and you have 1,000 people? Now, how do you have 80 million votes and you have less than 1,000 people? with Republicans maintaining control. So here's what happened. So Biden didn't demonstrate coattails, down ballot races, but with Republicans maintaining control, first time this has ever happened, control of the Senate, winning all 27 toss-up races in the House. Kevin McCarthy, great job. Mitch, great job. Winning all 27 toss-up races in the House. Think of it. We didn't lose a seat in the House. Think of this. First time that anybody, I think in history, we didn't lose one seat. Normally you lose 2, 3, 5, and you replace. We lost nobody sitting in Congress. I worked hard in the House with Kevin McCarthy. Not losing a single legislative chamber and making big gains at the state level and holding on to the Senate. I mean, look at what's happened. We better hold on to the Senate, you two. And there's never been numbers like that where a president even came close to losing. But they say we lost. The only way is they stuffed the ballot boxes. President Trump won. President Trump won, as we said, both in Florida and in Ohio. And by the way, won by a lot. Remember, remember the fake polls where they said he's down by 4 in Florida and won by a lot. He's down by 2 in Ohio, and we won. I think we got 8 or 9 or something. No, but nobody's ever done that. Those 2 very powerful, big, important states. And the beauty is that we also won Georgia, and that was good. And we won South Carolina, and we won Iowa. Remember? We're not going to win in Iowa, they said. We're not going to win. I think the farmers like Trump a lot, right? Well, we won in Iowa by a lot. We won in Iowa by close to record numbers. I think I have the record. And we won all over the place. And many of these swing states, it's a very interesting statistic. President Obama beat Biden all over the country, except in some of the swing states where Biden beat him badly. How does that work? And they say it's statistically impossible. He beat crooked Hillary. Think of this. He beat crooked Hillary in the swing states, but she beat him everywhere else. Let me tell you, this election was rigged, and we can't let it happen to 2 of the greatest, most respected people in Washington. We can't let it happen again. Can't let it happen. Can't let it happen. Your governor could stop it very easily if he knew what the hell he was doing. He could stop it very easily. Hundreds of thousands of illegal votes were cast in each state. Far from, you look at this, hundreds of thousands more than we needed were cast in every state we're talking about, not only here, but Michigan, Pennsylvania. How about Pennsylvania where they throw the poll watchers out? They threw them out. They literally threw them out. And they did it here too, by the way. But we caught them cold and have numerous cases pending, and so far we haven't been able to find the people with the courage to do the right thing. And that is true in Georgia, certainly, but we're going to hit those people, and they're going to go down in history as great people. They're going to go down because everyone knows what took place. But we're going to talk about the presidential election a little bit later because we have a big senatorial race going on in Georgia. And we are watching Democrats very, very closely. And remember this, we had this massive race all over the country, so they could cheat in Georgia, and people aren't really watching it like they should. And, again, all I can do is say, I'm running, win, and then do a good job as president. That's all. I don't run the elections. I don't run to see if people are walking in with suitcases and putting them under a table with a black robe around it. I don't do that. That's up to your government here. And for whatever reason, your Secretary of State and your governor are afraid of Stacey Abrams. They're afraid of her. So we know the Democrats are planning to cheat, and we can't let them do it again. And we're going to pull ours out one way or the other. But we have to be vigilant because I don't want these 2 to work like I thought we were going to easily win. And that maybe for the first time in a long time, I'd go take a nice little vacation for about 2 days, and then we go back. And instead, I probably worked harder in the last 3 weeks than I've ever worked in my life doing this. And I've become friendly with legislators that I didn't know 4 weeks ago, and actually they're great people. In fact, in my pocket right here, we have a couple of them right in here. Where's Bert Jones? Where's Bert Jones? Bert, well, you're a young guy. I thought you were young, but not that young. Bert Jones, I want to thank you, Bert, for being here. You're friendly with the man next to you, right, huh? He's a man of courage. Thank you very much, Bert. I appreciate everything you're doing, and so does this big crowd. And this is a lot of people. Also, Brandon Beach, Senator Brandon Beach. Brandon, thank you for everything. We appreciate it. William Liggins. William, where's William? Why are you so far away, William, from them? Oh, I like that group better, actually, I agree. And Greg Dozel. Where's Greg? Greg, thank you very much, Greg. We appreciate it. Really do. We appreciate it. Great people. And we said, have this brought back into your legislature, Governor. Have it brought back. Let these people make it. Keep it open, keep it transparent, and let us have a signature verification. What's wrong with that? They keep counting the same votes. I said, don't count votes. Look at the signature. You're going to find the signatures aren't what they were 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago. But our two great Senate opponents, and these are two people that fight, and they're going to fight like, I don't know if you know this, but one of the people that you're fighting, I went against him, Ossoff, 4 years ago. He was against a very fine woman, Karen, who was a great woman, and he was leading by quite a bit, and we ended up beating him. He didn't even live in the district. He was running for Congress. He didn't even live in the district. So we're going to have the same thing. But Ossoff and Warnock will be total pawns of Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. I only see him cry when the cameras are on. But he did say this. Maybe I'm hurting you when he did say this. If we get in, we're going to absolutely make Donald Trump's life miserable. Can you believe it? That's Chuck Schumer. He made the statement. We're going to investigate him. Oh, those investigations will go on and on. Well, they've been investigating me since the day we came down on the escalator, what turned out to be our great first lady. We came down the escalator, right? And they spied on our campaign and lots of other things. But Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Bernie Sanders, and the lunatic radical left. That's what you're going to have. As Chuck Schumer said rather infamously, first we take Georgia, then we take America. But they don't mean take America like in a good sense. They mean bring it over to things that the people of Georgia don't want. You're not going to like it when they want to take over your farm. Gee, we own this farm too. You know, we were here also. We own this farm. Here's exactly how they will change America forever. The radical Democrats, if they get power, they will immediately abolish the Senate filibuster, allowing them to pass any bill they want and giving them free rein to ram through the most extreme left-wing agenda ever conceived, while at the same time destroying our military through a lack of funding. And by the way, tell our senators, end Section 230. End Section 230. Put it in. We put it in. I want it in the defense bill. Put it in. Because it's a national security problem. It's a big national security, so hopefully Mitch and the senators will put it in. But it's the one chance we have to bring big tech, who are vicious and violent and untruthful, to bring big tech. It's the only thing they fear is that we're going to end Section 230. So hopefully we will do it. It happens to be a politically very popular thing to do, by the way. If these people get control, their draconian military cuts will devastate Fort Benning, Fort Gordon, and the military families all across Georgia. We would also like to save the names of the forts, if you don't mind, everybody. They have the right, you know, they put in the Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren clause, where they have the right to take all the names of our past warriors, heroes in some cases, many cases. Some turned out to be heroes in disguise, perhaps. But they want to take the names off, and they have the right to desecrate, to take down, to destroy, to demolish places in our national parks that we don't want demolished. So we have to be very careful of that. We can't let that happen. They want to put it in our military bill. Of all people, Elizabeth Warren puts that clause in the military bill. They will impose total open borders so that people can pour into our country, and they will give them free health care, free welfare, and the right to vote in your elections. You won't ever win another election as a Republican. They even want to take down the wall. You know, the wall, I won on the wall too. We won on a lot of things. Take down the wall. I heard him say it the other day. We will take down the wall. You know, we have the strongest border we've ever had now. We're almost finished with the wall. Strongest border, right, Sonny? And we built it despite, it's incredible the effect it's having. We built it despite everybody said no chance. I mean, we had a whole very powerful Democrat Party oppose me. And yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, the court just ruled that the money I took was taken legally. So at least we have a legal wall. The appeals court. So we took it and we built the wall, and we'll be finished with it very soon, but it's had a tremendous impact on illegal immigrants coming into the country. And by the way, we want people to come into our country. You see that by the vote I got. But we want people to come in legally and through merit, where they can help us. The radical Democrats will implement nationwide catch and release. You know what that is? You catch a killer, you catch a rapist, and you say, oh, thank you very much. Please give us your name. Oh, come back in 3 years. We're going to put you on trial. Oh, good. You never see them, by the way. Remember, I had that debate with Joe Biden. He said, no, they come back. Yeah, they don't come back. They don't come back. No, they don't come back. Like never. Maybe 1%, but I doubt it. That's the end of them. You let them loose in our country. I got rid of it. You think that was easy? And install sanctuary cities all across the country. That's what they want. Freeing criminal aliens and MS-13 gang members, the most vicious people. They don't like guns because it's not painful enough. They like using knives. It's true. They don't like guns. They'd rather cut somebody up. To wreak havoc and terror upon innocent families. We've moved thousands and thousands of MS-13 the hell out of our country. We moved them back to where they came from. And some we put in prison because they're too dangerous to move back, because they'll try and figure a way. You know, they're not stupid. They're vicious, but they're not stupid. Sort of like the Democrats, if you think about it. They'll confiscate privately owned firearms and share. What they will do, they will share everything with themselves, only dangerous equipment, and they will totally cut up a thing called your Second Amendment rights. They'll make Washington, D.C. a state, and many other places, guaranteeing 2, 4, or 6 additional left-wing senators. You know, they want to make numerous places states. This way you have a lot more, Louis, you can have a lot more company in Congress. You'll have another 30, 40 congressional people from places you've never even heard of. You've never even heard of. Louis Gohmert, the great Louis Gohmert. And they'll be voting against Georgia every time, completely canceling out your voice in Washington forever. Like David Perdue, I'll never forget it. You got hit by a piece of a hurricane. Remember that? The farmers got hit so hard. And I went with Sonny and with David and some other great people from Georgia. And I said, is there a way we can pay these people? They never asked for anything, and their orchards were wiped out. One of the men said this was going to be the best crop I ever had. I was a week and a half away from finally, after 10, 12 years, making some money. And a week and a half early, he gets hit by the remnants of that big hurricane from Florida. Great state, great place, but you got hit. And David, we took 100% care of those people, right? We took 100% care, yeah. With the help of Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture. And I felt so good. But I met those, I met them. There were 33 of them standing, and they were all in a line. What do you do? I have this. What? It was a tragic, and nobody wanted anything. They didn't even want it. They said if we could borrow it, they didn't want it. These are incredible people. They don't want anything. They just want a level playing field, but we took care of them. They never forgot it either. It's very interesting. I still hear from some of those people. The extreme left will pack the Supreme Court with 24 radical justices. That's the last number I heard. I used to hear it was 16. Now it's up to 24. Pretty soon you'll have another Congress. 24 radical justices instead of 9 justices that we have right now. And they want them to revolve up and down the court system so that Supreme Court justices can spend time in other locations down the totem pole. They want to hurt the Supreme Court, and they want to hurt it very badly. And if these two don't get in, or if I don't get in and these don't, we got to get, the best would be all three. Nothing will happen. All three. But they want to destroy the sanctity of the Supreme Court, the importance of the Supreme Court, the majesty of the Supreme Court. They'll terminate religious liberty, cancel free speech, and force you to fund extreme late-term abortion.
That's it. That's it. I'm through. I can't take no more. You know, it started out half-truths, and then went from half-truths to twisted half-truths, and now it's just all out and out lies. So because of the way that he is attacking his opponent illegitimately, the way that he's bringing up lie after lie after lie, that's it. I don't want to hear no more about this screwball. And as far as I'm concerned, that's exactly what he's turned out to be. He's turned out to be a screwball. He lied to the American people about the deal over in the Ukrainian government. He lied to the American people about the severity of the coronavirus. He's lied to the people in other major platform ordeals. He refuses to accept that global warming is real. I've just heard one lie after another lie to the point that I'm almost ready to throw up. I'm sick at my stomach because of this illegitimate president that has helped to bring more chaos, more destruction, more confusion. I mean, he even had his own medical team contradicting each other because they were scared that if they didn't say the right thing, they probably was going to get the boot. Whenever you have somebody that's pressuring people in this magnitude, you say that this is an open door policy. It's only an open door policy if you go along with Donald Trump's nightmares. It used to be dreams. They're no longer dreams. They're nightmares. And where he comes up with these crazy ideals, these false accusations that the Democrats is going to do this, and the Democrats is going to do that, and the Democrats is going to stop this, and the Democrats is going to start this, and the Democrats are going to go over here, and the Democrats are going to go over there. I mean, it's relentless in how that he tries to demoralize his opponent, but at the same time, he's only demoralizing himself. He's demoralizing the Republican Party that he stands for. Because we know that the votes has been counted. We know that things has been up on the uppity up. We know that the coronavirus is a killer. We know that the environment is going through major ordeals pertaining to the weather changes. But yet, no, we got somebody up there that tells us that we don't know. Donald Trump has done more damage to this country than I believe any other president by causing the chaos and contradicting, making leaders mad all over the world and just trying to strong arm people, not just here in America, but throughout the world, and pardoning people that he shouldn't be pardoning pertaining to corrupt ideology. It's just, I just thank God that there was enough people who understood and who realized that if we had 4 more years of this guy, he was fixing to walk all of us off into the mouth of the volcano. He really was. Right now, we are every bit of, I'm going to say, at least 2 months behind pertaining to the equipment that our hospitals and the equipment that our first responders should have. We've had plenty of time to gangbang on wrapping up in our losses before this second wave now is dominating here in America. But yet now we're seeing numbers, almost 3,000 a day that's dying. Over 100,000 are in the hospitals. He don't get up there and tell the truth. He gets up there and manipulates his crowd. Once more, to me, he's like Jerry Springer. He's a rebel riser, and the crowd that he gets behind are the very people that wants to be the same as he is. They want to fight, but they just don't know what they're fighting for. But they just want to be heard, and it don't matter in what way or what terminology that they're wanting to be heard. They just want to be heard. It's almost like a madman wanting to hear himself talk, and it's sad. It is probably one of the most saddest events pertaining to leadership, and it's one of the most saddest points and part of America's history in regard to A to Z of everything that is going on right now. It is one of the most saddest, darkest, bleakest times in American history. By just fumigating chaos. Like I said, a rebel riser. A rebel riser towards wanting to rev up the people, like Jerry Springer, over other people's misery and sorrow. And the thing about it is, he's the one that's caused the majority of the misery and the sorrow. But do you think he's going to get up there and tell his crowd that? And to think that his crowd is that naive that they believe basically every utter word that comes out of that man's mouth. I cannot believe how that Donald Trump has hoodwinked. He has spellbinded. He has brainwashed. What was it? 68 million people, almost 70 million people or something like that. I just can't believe that he has actually done this. But that tells you the power of the mic, the power of media, the power of being able to stand in front of a large crowd and say, this is the way it is, again and again and again, regardless whether this is the way that it truly is. But if you say it long enough and strong enough and hard enough, Donald Trump's convinced that eventually you'll convince the people that that's the way that it is. And he has. He has convinced his base, his viewing base, of just about every utter word that comes out of the man's mouth. I thought Bill Clinton, they said that Bill Clinton was a genius whenever it come to manipulating the people. He was a good speaker. He made a lot of sense. He was the American white boy raised in Arkansas from the South, had a nice looking wife, dressed nice, looked nice. He was basically another, I'm going to call him a Slick Willie, to the point that I've heard people say that Bill Clinton could convince you that you could buy a rotten watermelon and that it would taste good before you ever got it to the house. Well, this is another one, okay, that is a slick Willie towards convincing people of things that are as fictional, that are as untruthful as daylight is dark. But he'll still get up there and whine, cry. He'll still get up there, huff and puff. And he's really covering up his rage really good right now. I'm really surprised that he's putting on such of an act of covering up his rage, because the other day, whenever his own people said that he don't have a snowball, chance and towards winning, he let loose in front of the cameras pertaining to the rage, and that if the truth be known is the real Donald Trump. He claims that he wants to protect his image, or he claims that he wants to protect his brand. Okay, the Donald Trump brand, the Trump brand that he had before he ever run for president. That's what he claims. He claims that he wants to protect his brand. The thing about it is, the brand now may be more known as far as popularity wise, but it has more of a negative popularity because he himself has tainted his brand by lying, manipulating, and telling half-truths. And you don't think people are going to hold this against him once he gets out of public office and once he goes back to doing whatever that he was doing before towards building buildings or trying to run some sort of I'm going to call it a cartoon show. It's supposed to be a reality show, but you know what I'm saying. I'm sure there'll be just as many people, not as many, but there'll be quite a few people that will still want to hear about Donald Trump because he has memorized, I think I'm pronouncing it right, memorized these people's minds, hearts, and feelings to the point that, yeah, Donald Trump has convinced his viewers that if he was to shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, that he wouldn't have to go to jail. But I got news for Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was to shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, unless he had a real good excuse for shooting that person, he would have to stand in front of the eyes of the courts and give an account towards why he shot that person, the same as anybody else that shot anybody on Fifth Avenue. Some of the most ridiculous, craziest, far-fetched things that has come out of that man's mouth, degrading various cultures, degrading various nations, calling them slums and calling them this and going out to California and telling all. I mean, just today they had California raging out by LA to the point that they had to shut down something like 250,000 people because of taking a chance on the electric lines snapping and popping and breaking and creating more fires. What does he do? He goes out to California and tells them how wrong that they are for letting their vegetation grow wild. Like we're supposed to get out there and pick it? Like you're going to go over thousands and hundreds of thousands and hundreds of millions of thousands of acres and you're going to get out there and pick it with a little toothpick? He's not in the program of being in reality. There's no state as big as California. I don't care who was running it that could do a complete total foliage annihilation or evaluation towards making sure that all their foliage was cleaned up, that they wouldn't have to worry about forest fires. He'd rather tell people that and try to demoralize people because of the fires than to admit that he's been wrong about the global environmental crisis. That's the Donald Trump that has branded his own brand. The Donald Trump that did not tell the American people the severity of the coronavirus And now we're seeing almost 3,000 people a day falling over dead. Our hospitals are full. Our nurses and our doctors are just overwhelmed. Our ambulances are having trouble towards financing, towards making sure that they got gas in the tank to be able to go get the people that are sick. And then after they get them, they don't know what they're going to do with them because the beds are all full. This is the Donald Trump that has manipulated the American people. This is the Donald Trump that gets up there and lies and lies and lies and puts the blame on others rather than putting the blame up onto himself. This will be the Donald Trump that I remember throughout the history books whenever the historians read about this individual 50, 75, 100 years from now, providing that the world's still standing. This will be the image or the imagery that people will dial into after they read various things about this president of what actually occurred in the year 2020. I'm going to end real quick by saying this. It has been so outlandish this year that we have seen precious metals, silver, gold, minted metals, go as much as 5 times higher this year than what they have ever sold for on the open market. That's how extreme that the year 2020 has been. I will be so glad to see this guy walk off of the main stage. He's done some things that was good for America. He's brought out some ideals that was good for America. He's moved in certain directions with the military that has helped our United States military. But he's done more damage than he's done good. He's done more damage than he's done good. And he has basically spent twice as much as the administration that was before him. And that administration was in power for 8 years. Donald Trump has already exceeded in spending in 4 years of what another administration went backwards on in 8. But he'll stand there and he'll tell you that he is the best businessman in the world. That he is the deal maker. And people have bought into it. He's a con artist. This is what con artists do. They con their people in making them believe a total lie. Just like they done years ago with the snake oil. They was con artists. They went around from place to place, to community, and they convinced people that if they bought this product that was nothing more than a little bit of sugar and water and maybe 2 or 3 more other elements, that if they bought it, it would be a cure-all. And people fell for it, and they bought it by the groves. So it's not the first time that people have been bamboozled. It's not the first time that people have been deceived. Good luck to all of us. Good luck to each and every one of us. And God bless America. And God bless those who are fighting for true justice in a righteous, glorious way through the only begotten, which is Jesus Christ. Thanks again for allowing me to talk, and shalom.